I'm sure you've heard of the saying, caught between a rock and a hard place. The Greek hero Odysseus showed us that, well, sometimes it doesn't matter in what direction you move, there is still going to be great struggle. People may die, not everyone will be happy, feuds may ensue. It takes a hero to live with those consequences, knowing that he chose what he believed was the lesser of two evils. And that is where you come in. Hopefully you have the skills to make such a decision, and I'm going to need your help. But I will say, to anyone worried about spoilers in this video, this is only going to feature certain quests from the levels of about 30 to 35, which I realize is quite convenient for myself, but that's why this is only a part 2. No, but these quests being none of which are the main story itself. So yeah, as far as spoilers go, pretty minor, not really a big deal, but they will spoil the quests themselves that I include. But anyway, 5 hard decisions in Assassin's Creed Odyssey Part 2. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 5, we've a grand display of cowardice. Yeah, you can start this in Pefka around level 32. You run up the stairs into town and you hear a commotion. A man is about to jump off the top of a building, right in front of a crowd of very worried civilians.
I don't want anyone to get hurt from my jump, which I'm about to do right now.
However, as you can hear, his threats seem to fall flat. But you can hear from the crowd that he's been up there for about 3 to 4 days now. You're almost surprised someone hasn't just gone up there and pried him from the edge. I think you're not supposed to do that because you might put added pressure on that person and then cause them to jump after all, and you don't want that. I mean, I think there really is a better way of approaching. Well, for future reference, you speak to him and basically you have the option of saying, no, don't jump, you're a warrior, you're stronger than this, I know you, buddy, or I bet you won't jump because you're a coward. And to continue the theme of doing things that we're not supposed to in this situation, I chose the latter. Thankfully for us and for the gravity of this video, well, he doesn't jump. He doesn't actually want to die. You learn that he's just under a lot of pressure lately because, so he comes from this small village nearby, and it's really suffering, right? They're not getting a lot of trade. The people there, I mean. They're poor. No one really visits them. Nothing of note or worth comes from them really at all. It's kind of a sad group of people. So apparently they voted that this guy before us, Maurice, come to the city of Pefka and slay the legendary Minotaur that this city is very famous for holding. In fact, yeah, it's a really big deal here. Everyone goes crazy for the Minotaur. It's their mascot in a sense. And they very much like that the city has become a tourist attraction to try and hunt down this infamous beast. Whether it's a myth or it is actually real, it's something to still be determined. If you play the game, I'll let you just, get that far. But yeah, anyway, they certainly like the attention that the Minotaur brings to their town. They've even set up a series of so-called pre-trials to see if you're even worthy of fighting such a monster. One of them is strength, and so you have to fight like this big freaking meathead guy. Another one is...
Oh, my bones! Oh, they are extremely broken! Oh, don't be a fool! Please, you must pay to skip this pre-trial.
Never before have I been so intrigued by someone's delivery. One more time?
Oh, my bones! Oh, they are extremely broken!
Well, anyway, if Maurice kills the Minotaur, he's gonna bring fame and glory to his little tiny village of sad people, and then they all will prosper from increased trade and tourist visits. Yay, good plan. Except that Maurice is literally the last person capable, maybe in Greece, of killing a Minotaur. And he says, okay, well, maybe I should just lie to them that I did it. How about that? And you're like, no, that's not a good idea. They're probably going to see through your bluff. And he says, no, that's okay. They're all retarded. So he comes up with this plan for you to steal a really impressive set of armor and an axe. So impressive that just by him wearing it, just by looking at him in this new getup, there's no way you could believe that he didn't just kill a Minotaur, right? So it turns out the armor is in the home of the city's leader, a man named Ezekias the Great Protector, and all of his guards are on high alert. I'm sure you can do this without being noticed, but I didn't. So I had to struggle with the thought of destroying the city's entire leadership just for the sad husk of a man who's got this really dumb idea that I'm not even really wild about fulfilling, but I didn't meditate on this before doing it, so now I'm already in the full swing of it, and I'm like, oh, I should probably just continue. Yeah, I have to think these things through. Anyway, so you murder everybody. Grab the armor. Next is the axe, and as if you haven't done enough killing just now, the axe is north in a different place called Fort Lado, and the chest is in a particularly open spot, so I figured, I don't want to kill any more people, although I did have to kill some. But anyway, I would just jump in, loot the thing, and then book it out of there with the risk of taking a few arrows to the ass cheeks. And with the exception of a few, my rump remained firm and solid. Back to Maurice with the spoils you now have, and this is the tough decision that you now have to make. Give him the axe and the armor, or keep them for yourself. Certainly, he hasn't earned either of them, right? And even if he puts them on, he probably won't be convincing because of the way he carries himself, right? Like, alpha. It's not some cape that you put on just for those moments where you need the courage to, hit on a girl or something like that, or have that confidence. It's a grounded system of beliefs and purpose within you that assure you of your own self-worth and certainly the worth to the people around you. That's what that is, and it's obvious he doesn't possess that. Now, on the other hand, if you give him the axe and the armor, well, maybe that's the boost that he needed to kind of feel good about himself again and to restart his journey on becoming, a better version of himself. It's true that when things are bad, it's easier for things to just continue being bad. And that seems like a pretty bad concept, but it's okay because then in the opposite, it goes the same way. If things are going well for you, it's easier to continue making things go well for yourself. This is actually known as the Pareto distribution. It's very interesting. So the ultimatum, I think, comes down to whether you believe this armor is going to be useless entirely if given to him, and that he should learn himself what it means to have courage, or that this could be the jumpstart he needs to have a better life. Personally, I chose not to give him the armor because I think going back to his village with lies and a false persona will only lead to more depression when he finally gets exposed. Number 4, we are about to embark on a very great journey, and those up to snuff on their mythology may find the similarities of one such journey into the past. This is all a part of the quest Odyssey into the Past, and you can find this on Skyros around level 31. You infiltrate a pirate hideout on the coast. You're ready to shed blood, but before you do, you notice that the pirates, they're all dancing. Right? And it's not the kind of dancing that's like, I've been dancing for years, let me show you my moves, because I'm skilled at this art. It's more like, I'm drunk too much. I have to move. Yeah, they're out of it, right? This is evident when you walk right up to them, and they're not hostile, right? They don't even notice you. They're on a different planet right now, and you go to free one of the prisoners, and who do you find reveling in the fun when you do? Barnabas, your trusty sea captain. Looks like he's been drinking too. That's actually a problem because you've seen him dance, and he should not. He shouldn't. But it actually gets worse. The prisoner says that he shouldn't be drinking all that stuff because it's lotus flower wine. It's a type of narcotic! And once you find that out, all the pirates snap back to reality in an instant. It's very convenient of them, and then they all attack you. So you kill all of them. Barnabas is too shit-faced to walk, so you escort him back to the ship. Everybody goes to bed. Done. Next morning, Barnabas says in his dreams that he had a vision. That his wife, and you didn't even know he had a wife, but that his wife, who he thought was dead years ago after being shipwrecked at sea, that she's actually still alive. He literally had a vision of her. Apparently he saw her feeding a cyclops. She was drinking wine with a witch, and then she was singing like a siren. And again, if you know your mythology, you know exactly what I'm going where. You know where I'm going with this. But again, you can't help but be reminded of the story of Homer's Odyssey, right? On one of the beginning islands, Odysseus, in that story, he has to save his crew. He's literally pulling each person back to the ship after they've spent time with these people called the Lotus Eaters, and they can't stop eating lotus flowers. And it was making them literally so lethargic and tired, they didn't have the energy to do anything at all. And then, more of the story continues as we do. So, but we're already starting that journey. Now, next up is the witch known as Circe. Now, this doesn't necessarily follow the order of the poem by which the islands that Odysseus hit, but, it's just loosely following the story. But anyway, Circe, she's suspicious from the start, living in the ruins of a temple of lions that are all surrounding pigs. And Circe herself is feeding on a dead pig when you find her. And that's weird. So, of course, in the Odyssey, Circe turned all of Odysseus' men into pigs and then threatened to feed them to other animals. And actually, Odysseus himself was immune to it because he got, like, a warning from, I think, Hermes? But anyway, so yeah, it wouldn't be unreasonable. Knowing your mythology, it would not be unreasonable of you to skip the chit-chat and go straight to the killing, which is an option, but, I don't know, she wanted me to get some wine for her, and... You know, I don't know what her intentions are. Might as well give her the benefit of the doubt. So you go and fetch some wine. There's like a little doll beside it with teeth marks on it. And Cassandra comments on this, but yeah, the teeth marks are probably Circe's, but you don't know that. How dare you assume and make asses out of people? So you bring her the wine, and she's like, drink up. You must be thirsty. And I'll admit, I feel like I should have stabbed her then, but I was thirsty. That's the thing. Okay, just for the record, I wanted to drink the wine. I did this on my own accord. Well, anyway, I had a hunch that would knock me out and almost get me screwed by a pig. But at least now I knew for sure. Okay, so Circe isn't good. I'm pissed off. She wants to kill you. How about we sneak back up to the temple, try to take her out by, like, jumping.
I will rip you apart and feed you to your animals.
Okay, well, that works as well. We definitely kill her a lot for betraying us, and if these pigs are anyone's crew, like in the other story, sorry guys, you're not going to be surviving this version of the story, I'm afraid. Anyway, so you find a bracelet on Circe's body, it's one of which is engraved with the name Leda. Now, Leda is the name of Barnabas' old wife, so you bring it back to him, and he's giddy about that. He's absolutely so excited. He's so sure that this was hers. It's just the thing is, that doesn't mean she's still alive. That could just mean that Circe actually killed her a long time ago and just took the bracelet off of her and sort of kept it as a trophy. But regardless, Barnabas, he has hope. It's good to see him happy. So, although it's not looking good so far, you continue with the journey. Next stop, we have the tomb of Polybites. The whole of it currently inhabits a group of sirens who sing the local townsfolk down here to their deaths. And yeah, obviously, this is indicative of Odysseus' version of the sirens. They were out on an island of rocks in the sea, and they would sing so sweetly that it was mesmerizing. Any sailor who heard them was, again, mesmerized and would crash their own ships into the rocks and, subsequently kill themselves. Now, in this version, people come down here to die, so instead of being in the sea, they're in a tomb. But these people come to die not before being tortured by being drained from their blood, which the sirens then drink. Eurylochus is actually one such a man who you end up saving, and you're able to free him from their grip. But yeah, I mean, the main point of this location, and he actually comes with you, but yeah, the main point of this location is that you find an aulos, which is a small wind instrument, on one of the sirens' bodies. Okay, so back to Barnabas, you show him the instrument, he says, yes, Leda loved these, she probably played them with the sirens. And, you look at him with a little pain behind your smile because it's clear that each of these locations, they're not really giving you any evidence at all that Leda is still alive. But again, to see him happy, it just kind of prevents you from saying otherwise. So whether you believe in it or not, you continue the journey. Last up of the three, we have the island of Polyphemos. He's a lonely cyclops. He desperately wants a friend, right? Apparently he's too ugly to make friends. Which, by the way, that's not true because somehow I did it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't have any friends. But I am sexy as fuck! Anyway, do you remember that guy Eurylochus I was just talking about from the Sirens? Oh, let's force him to be the Cyclops' friend. And actually, it was a match made in heaven. Look at the smiles they both share. Look at the hand clapping. That's the normal way to react when you've known someone for 2 minutes. Yeah, so as a reward, he gives you some spices. You bring them back to Barnabas, and he's like, yes! Dude, Leda used to use those as spices. And you're like... And at this point, you kind of feel like you should just be brutally honest and be like, guy, none of this means anything. It's all really vague. I'm sorry to say, your wife is probably dead. But then something so strange occurs, you'd only believe it if you saw it. Barnabas is like, by the cake of a MILF, all these ingredients we've collected can be found around this one little cave that I just happen to know about. I haven't explored it, but I just happen to know about it all the way over in Attica. It's called the entrance to the underworld. Let's go there! And you're like... Malakas. So you go there, you dive into the earth, maybe fight some cultists, I don't know, go deeper, and there you find a young lady, and believe it or not, this woman's name is Leda. Barnabas wasn't actually just high as a kite, dude, his vision was real. The thing is, this young woman is actually named after her mother, Leda. Turns out she had a father named Barnabas. You know what that means? This lady must be a traitorous whore. Don't believe her, Barnabas. Oh, ooh, damn. Oh, I thought the no one sent us option would be like, ooh, don't worry about me. We're not here to do you harm. Oh, I messed it. Okay, I messed that up. Daughter? She's the daughter of Leda. Yeah, and she's also named Leda. The Barnabas is like, what? I'm a father? My little seaman made it. They pulled in safely to harbor, if you know what I mean. And Leda's like, okay, Dad, stop. We're obviously not there yet to make sex jokes. You didn't know I was a real person 3 minutes ago. But I know something that can help us bond, Daddy. There are these suitors that have taken over the old family farm. They're actually really close, and they won't leave me until they marry me, but I don't want to marry them, so let's go f***ing kill them. And you and Barnabas are like, yeah! So you go up to the farm, and you slay these boys, exactly how Odysseus slayed all the boys who were trying to get with his wife Penelope after he got back from a super long-ass journey at sea. There's the tie-in to the original story. I said, there's the tie-in. Once the suitors are dead, we finally reach the hard decision that I'm sure you've been wondering if it was still coming, and like you almost forgot what the point of this video was. Anyway, if it's Leda should stay here or if she should come adventure with her father. Right, if she stays here, she can protect the family farm and keep it as a safe home for Barnabas to return to when he's eventually, retired from his days at sea, probably after adventuring with you for some time. It also protects the memory of the mother, Leda, and all the work that she put into this place. Now, on the other hand, if she comes with Barnabas, she can be reunited with her family and possibly go on even more adventures that she never thought possible. And this really touches home with Cassandra, someone who's lost most of her family. She really emphasizes that's a good idea because that may never come again, this opportunity. So she should take it. I think no matter what, this is still a tough call. It's a hard decision, but it's actually a little annoying because regardless of what you choose, you're actually going to get the same answer from Leda. She's going to say that she wants to stay and protect the farm, and Barnabas can visit whenever he likes. And it's not bad. It's just, well, I think this is the only option so that he doesn't get taken away from you as a crew member, because it's kind of implied that if he was together with his daughter that they would probably go off and do their own exploring, and then it wouldn't be fun to lose such a cool character. Barnabas is honestly really cool, so no matter what you decide, Barnabas does stay with you. But at least he can rest easy knowing that he has a daughter in the first place, but she's still alive, she's strong, and she's safe at home. I personally chose for her to be with her father, as again, being with your family really is an irreplaceable gift if you have that chance, but yeah, alas, it didn't change anything. But at least Odysseus would be very proud that we somewhat followed in his footsteps and still made it back alive. Number 3, we have liars, biters, and bears. Oh my. You can find this on the island of Delos around level 31. It takes place during the quest Grin or Bear It. You find a woman all by herself in this little garden area, bleeding out. And it's weird because she's not calling out for help or anything. She's literally just sitting there bleeding. So you talk to her and you find out what's going on, and she tells you that apparently it's illegal to die on Delos. I think it's for religious purposes, but imagine that. You're literally not allowed to die on this island. If someone stabs you and your guts are spilling out, you better stuff those back inside. You keep it cool, man. I swear to God, if you make a scene with me. Yeah, so basically now she's cursing the animal that did this to her, and she wants you to kill it for vengeance. So you go down to the coast. There's this magnificent white bear standing alone. It's like some kind of gladiator out there. Honestly, it looks out of place. But I don't know, what do I know about Greek animal culture? If there really are bears roaming around the beaches, maybe my vacation fund for Mykonos would be better spent elsewhere, because I've genuinely wanted to visit vacation there. Anyway, after killing it, you explore this nearby shipwreck, and there the plot thickens! You find some records that say this bear came from Arcadia. So it's not supposed to be here. It's also suspicious to see all the crew members mauled and ripped apart, right? The shipwreck itself is not what killed them. It seems the bear is what killed them. So bearing this news, you return to the woman who's been quietly dying all this time, and you tell her the beast is dead. She's happy. She's willing to pay you for all the efforts. What a fun... Yay! It was a fun experience that was. But if you're inquisitive, you'll press forward, right? If you just say, pay me and let's be done with this, it's too easy, right? Instead, I say, tell me where you're from. She admits to coming from Arcadia, and soon you find out she was a smuggler aboard that ship. They were bringing this rare type of bear across the sea over to another Greek island known as Kos. But the trouble is they got hit by a storm, as literally every ship in every video game ever has, and they crash-landed here on Delos. Okay, bear gets loose from the ship, starts tearing everybody up. Iola's like, no, you guys can't die here. The Delians would imprison me. It's illegal to die. So she tries to then kill the bear. Obviously, she fails, and then she's bleeding out. She flees over here. Boom, this is where the hard decision comes in. This stays between us, or this stays between us for a prize. Now, I know it doesn't really look like there's a big difference between the two of them, but there is, because if you say the second one, I'll do it for a price. She honestly gets so offended that you would ask for more money, even after she just had to see all of her crew, and probably her friends, get torn apart by that bear, that she literally is like, screw it, and with the last bit of energy that she has, I'm surprised she has any, she gets up and she tries to kill you. And you might feel a little bit bitter about this, but like the argument in favor of this option is that, look, she did bring a ferocious beast to an otherwise peaceful island. It killed a bunch of smugglers. That's illegal on this land. Also, she shouldn't be smuggling this bear across Greece in the first place. It legally belongs back in Arcadia. And then thirdly, if you didn't have the balls to go down there and kill it, and I mean you in particular, this bear roamed closer to the city, because it's honestly not far. The beach is not far from the city. If it roams up and starts killing people, well, that's even more innocent lives that were taken by Iola's mishap. So regardless of how she's going to act, it isn't unreasonable to ask for a pretty hefty price to keep such a weighty secret from the Delians. Now, on the other hand, you can keep her secret without asking for more. And actually, the ironic thing about this is you actually get more drachmae. I noticed in this version, I got 406. And then in the previous one, where I was actually trying to haggle for more, it's about half. I only got 218. So certainly, if you're trying to get more money, this may affect your overall decision. But let's say from a moral standpoint, maybe you feel that she suffered enough. Yeah, like the only people that did die at the end of the day were smugglers who knew the risk of trying to capture and transport a bear this big. The odds were not in their favor, and it got them killed. All right, that's the risk of the business, though. Not to mention, these were probably close friends of Iola's, so making her feel worse about it may just be redundant. And also, she's probably going to die here no matter what. Like, even if there's no way of saving her, I don't think. So is it really necessary for you to add that blood onto your hands? It's kind of like, look, she's going to die and pay for it anyway. So ultimately, it comes down to whether you think she should actively pay for her crimes of spilling blood on sacred soil, or that she should be shown generosity because she's going to die anyway, and she tried to keep the problem as contained as possible. So it's up to you. Now, personally, I did decide to spare her because, right, I'm just going to assume she's not going to survive these wounds. Like, let's assume that, and I think she's going to die anyway. Well, then that's going to happen. And then I get more money anyway at the end of the day. So that's what I chose. However, theoretically, if she was gonna escape and somehow survive this, I do think she should be punished for doing all of this. Number 2, we jump right into the moral debate. We are not wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, and we have none other than Sokratic to thank for that. Right when you talk to him, he wants your opinion on a particular trouble that he's having. See, right now we're on the island of Delos. This is where you can find this. It's actually very close to the last one, Grin and Bear It. But anyway, on Delos, this island used to be controlled by the Delians, who founded it. But recently, in this great war between Sparta and Athens, well, now the Spartans have taken over Delos. So there's a rebel gang that's been trying to take back the Delos Islands for who they believe are the rightful owners. One such rebel has come here, and again, this is what Sokratic is telling you right now. This rebel came here, he stole from a sanctuary to try and raise money for the rebellion. He gets caught by a Spartan. He then kills that Spartan, which, as you already know from the last one, it's illegal here. And then he gets apprehended by more guards. Now, apparently, see, he can't be killed here, so apparently he's in custody waiting to be transported to Mykonos, where he can actually be executed. Basically, Sokratic wants to know what your opinion is on this subject, and the lines that you and him share basically pose the idea that, yes, okay, this rebel stole, which is wrong, but he did it for the good of his people and for his family's freedom. That's good. Yes, this man killed someone, which is wrong, but he did it to save his own life, which is good. Now, that's what they're saying. The thing is, I don't necessarily believe that's true. He wasn't just, walking around minding his own business, and someone tried to kill him out of nowhere. He specifically put himself in an illegal situation. Then he gets caught. The first Spartan guard, he tried to just arrest him, not kill him, just arrest him. But then the rebel decides to kill him. He really didn't need to put himself in that situation. But there's more to the story as we continue, so we should keep moving with the quest before making our decision. Now, no matter what you believe, Sokratic wants you to go and free this man, and then basically it's up to you. He honestly wants to put that in your hands. He doesn't necessarily need to get away. This rebel, Sokratic just wants you to be the one to make the call. Now, just for reference, I did not actually want to kill these Spartans that you see dying before me. I basically just did it so that my footage was more interesting to look at. So, pretend none of this happened. This is all just it's a fever dream, and I snuck in and nobody saw me. But anyway, you do successfully sneak him out, and as you're running away, this dude won't shut up. He's screaming at the top of his lungs like, "Death to the oppressors! You'll never keep me in chains, dogs!" And it's like, bro, shut up!
Silence is what led to this. I'll scream till my lungs bleed, and all soldiers are dead.
Malaka!
Cassandra doesn't appreciate that one bit, and she's like, what's wrong with you? All your yelling could have gotten us both killed, and this freaking guy right here is like, good. It would set fire to the hearts of the rebels and inspire them to fight. I'm not gonna martyr myself. You think I did all that just so we could die together? Shoot. Okay, so this is where the final decision comes in. Do you let him leave after all, or do you kill him? Now, on one hand, this guy's obviously way more radical than you thought. He didn't care if you had to die for his cause, and to how many more people is that going to apply, right? Probably anyone. And Cassandra actually brings up a really good point, because she's like, guy, not every non-Delian out there is bad. I'm not a Delian. I just saved your ass. There's this other quest where you, I didn't record this, but there's this other quest where you have to help this rebel group that he's a part of, actually liberate themselves from another really bad gang of people. It's a gang of cultists, and it's a part of the Spartan army who join in and help them win that battle against these cultists. So it's like, dude, they're not all bad. And he literally just glazes over it. He's like, Athenians bad, Spartans bad, OG Delians good. It seems like his only argument is that he should have this island back because he was here before the Spartans. But that's really tricky, because who was here before him, right? And then before them, and so forth. Unless he gives a better argument as to why specifically the Spartans should not be here, it doesn't justify him killing any more of them. And if you let him go, it's very likely that he is. He's going to regroup with the other rebels. He's going to come back here and then do just that, kill more Spartans. Now, on the other hand, maybe you feel that he and his people have a right to this land just simply because they were here before the Spartans. I mean, it could be as simple as that. Don't tread on me, and if you do, we're gonna strike back. Right? It's certainly hard to deny that you would have a problem if someone came into your home and told you how to run it. And if you didn't agree with them, they would lock you up. Right? Okay, it's probably safe to say that all of us don't want to be told what to do. So the main decision here is whether you think this man is unjustified in killing more Spartans, or that he is because his land has been conquered. I personally decided to stop him because I don't think that his reasoning is justified. I didn't necessarily want to kill him, but that's the only, option you get in the game. You have to kill him because he starts fighting you. But yeah, I did this because I was actually reading up on the subject of, let's say, general conquest to sort of better formulate my thoughts on this. And, I read something that was really interesting, I thought. It said, justice doesn't exist unless you have an effective way to enforce it. And that really made me think. Basically, the takeaway of that is people or animals invading someone else's space is something that's been going on literally for as long as history, as long as we've known. It almost seems to be a part of nature itself. So if you don't have a strong enough set of laws within a group of people to then look outward and say, okay, yes, those other people are bad for this reason and this reason, and we're right for this, then you can't really determine what justice is, right? So because this rebel, he's got such a poor argument, in my opinion, for why the Delians should regain control, I don't think it's justified that he can just come back here and slaughter more soldiers. And number 1, we have a false prophet who's been spreading lies. Should they be punished? Let's find out. You deal with this during the quest Helping a Healer, which you can find on Focus around level 25. You first meet a man named Lacaun, and he's quite good with children.
Will the hurts go away?
Tell you what, you have to scare it away. If you roar like a lion, it'll run.
Cassandra's mother instincts are about to kick in. She's like, damn boy, I like the way you treat your patients. Except because I'm a prude in this game, and I want these peasants to actually earn my love, I was like, bitch, I'm married. Don't go talking nonsense to me. Yeah, so he wants you to get some herbs because he's a healer, and healers need herbs to craft potions with and stuff like that. So you go and you kill a bunch of wolves that are surrounding these much-needed mandrake herbs, he calls them. You get them back to Lacaun, and he produces some high-quality fluff. Lovely. He wants you to give the medicine to 3 different patients. And he's like, one's in an animal pen, one's building a house, and one's in a field. And Cassandra's like, oh yeah, those 3 people. I know exactly who you're talking about. Literally, without missing a beat, she goes and pinpoints every person exactly, and then she gives them the good. But the weird thing is that each person lets you in on a little secret, spills the tea, so to speak, on our friendly Lacaun. Apparently he's got some grandma issues. So you go back to him and you're like, hey, so I delivered all your medicine, but word in the village is that you've got some grandma issues. And he's like, yeah, my grandma Praxithea. I need to kill her. And you're like, what? And he's like, yeah, so, okay, just wait. She's a false prophet, and it's kind of a big deal, right? For years, people have been coming to her for advice, and she's just been feeding them lies. It's honestly probably gotten, like, a lot of people killed. And Cassandra takes this personally because she's like, yo, my family got messed up because of a false prophet. They literally told my dad he needed to throw my baby brother off a cliff because it would be good for the Spartan people, she said. Good for the Spartan people? Question mark. If this is that same bitch, I'm about to throw down on this old bag. And Lacaun's like, I can't hear you. Why aren't you right next to me? And you're like, why are you tailgating this bear? This thing is so pissed off. Lacaun, I thought you were going to turn into a werewolf because of your name. And fight that thing. That would have been fun to watch. Now I'm sad. Okay. I had to do it. But it turns out, Praxithea, who's supposed to be right here in this little shack, just sitting there riddling with arthritis, she's missing! She was stolen by a group of bandits who I'm guessing they had a score to settle with her. I don't know, something like that. And Lacaun's like, no, I wanted to give her this mandrake herb because it's a sedative. And it's going to ease her pain, kind of make her numb when I kill her. Because, like, she probably should die, but I get to do it in a reasonable way. So you decide that you're going to go fetch her so that you can kill her. I don't know. It makes sense to Lacaun, and I'm just a Mystios. I just do what people say. You infiltrate this big fort, you unlock her cage, and then you both run out of there until you find a spot that you're totally in the clear. Lacaun meets you there, and this is where the big decision comes in. Does Lacaun kill her? Does nobody kill her? Or do you kill her? Now, if you choose the first option, Lacaun, he musters up all his strength, he walks over to her, it's dramatic, but as hard as he tries, he just can't force himself to kill his grandma. Which, I think we can all understand that. And the argument in favor of this is like, hey, you were the one who set this in motion, okay? I got paid, whatever. Whether you want to kill her or not, that's up to you. This is your family's business, and it's not mine. And then she walks out alive, good to go. Now, this doesn't really put you into action, though, so yeah, we go to the next 2 options for more of a moral debate. The second option is to say violence won't solve anything. Right, killing is an endless cycle, so unless someone has the courage to stop it in its tracks, it's not going to end. Not to mention, what's done is done. Even though her family got messed up by this woman, and I'm talking about Cassandra, well, nothing will change that now. It's also worth mentioning that this woman, Praxithea, she explains to you that yes, even though she is a real oracle, well, apparently there were people above her telling her what to say. Probably for their own political reasons, to change the political atmosphere for their liking, or else they were going to kill her and her family. That doesn't necessarily justify her going along with whatever, evil that may have caused, but I don't know, it's nice to know that she wasn't doing it completely out of spite for other people, like on her own accord, let's say. At the end of the day, she says she's an oracle and that her word is the truth, but why would someone put all of their eggs in one basket and do exactly everything that she says, right? This was obviously a much bigger deal in ancient Greece because people took the word of oracles a lot more seriously, and if people felt like they got duped. Dude, it wasn't uncommon to have these oracles executed. But that doesn't mean the people sentencing them to die are right, just because collectively they believe it is and they believe they're right. I don't think that's true. I approach this with more of a modern sense where people are going to lie to you throughout your life, right? It happens all the time. It doesn't mean they should die for it. In fact, why are you taking their word so seriously? It's kind of on you for trusting them in the first place. And then sure, if you believe in karma, it would certainly be nice for them to then get their due after all the lies they've spread and, the people they've hurt. Yeah, that would be nice, but for you personally, it's honestly probably best to just move on and remove them from your life. So in Praxithia's case, the people who got screwed over were quick to believe in the words of someone else and likely should have ruminated longer on that idea before moving on to action. On the other hand, the third option is for you to intervene yourself and kill her. And the argument here is that, well, these people are living in a time where oracles played a much more significant role in their societies. Like I mentioned before, this is ancient Greece now. It's interesting that justice, the idea of justice, it's an artificial creation by humans, right? We decide what's fair or not fair in a particular society to try and make the process of living as reasonable as possible. So if you have a culture where you essentially elect an oracle to then do the job of foresight, right, of seeing into the future, and you make their word similar to the word of law, well then, all right, if that gets broken or something doesn't come true, they view it as equal as breaking the law. And to them, collectively, that's their form of justice. So who are you to try and disrupt that? Better of you to act on behalf of the law and then kill this person for ruining so many families. So yeah, it's a hard one. Ultimately, it comes down to whether you don't want to deal with it, just watch like hound pussy out, you let her live because killing her won't change anything, or you kill her on behalf of the rest of society. Personally, I decided to let her live because I don't believe in putting that much stock into someone else's words. Right? If I lived in ancient Greece, it is very possible my opinion would change on this, but I don't. That's the thing. And I'm going off of what I know. And right now, because I live in Los Angeles, and if I stopped by any of the hundreds and hundreds of little bedazzled storefronts that I drive by all the time with an old, smelly fortune teller inside, and I pay her $30 to tell me that I should expect love soon and that I should keep my soul open to welcome this love, and it doesn't come true, I'm not going to go back in there and be like, I sentence you to die! And there you have it. 5 hard decisions in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Part 2. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And down below, please tell me, is there something you would have chosen differently than me for any one of these? Alright, thank you very much for watching. No, really, the next time your friend asks you to hang out, say yes. Trust me, something very interesting, but also not interesting at all is going to happen. Oh my god, I can't wait. Do it. Say yes. Oh my god, you're gonna love it. That'll be $30, please.